I'm tired. It's been a long few weeks, and oh my god, what the hell has been going on? It has just felt like a complete blur, and it's like all this political stuff is just like so intense, so unnecessarily intense, so unnecessarily intense. I'm still working on open systems. Currently have the Manchester bulletin board system up and running now, so if you're in the Manchester region and you can find us on Meshtastic, you can post to our bulletin board, and it is now completely off-grid. So no mobile networks needed, no Wi-Fi networks needed, so Manchester is secure. I've been archiving a whole load of stuff as well, so I've got a data shard of Wikipedia as well, so I'm fairly confident that if things went down now, that we could access a pretty decent node. That being said, it would be nice to spread this elsewhere, and thus we have developed the Open Systems package that that comes with a hard drive and with a Meshtastic node. So you can set up your own Meshtastic BBS where you are. And what we'll do is, and I'll add this to the operating system, making a mental note of that, I will add the libraries to get a BBS started from your node. Now, the points of this are manifold. When Supernova Labs first started, we were designing for a proto-post scarcity economy. So what does that mean? That is a world in which things are abundant and available to us. If only we could organize the world's resources better to serve the needs of the people, right? Now, all the political theorists will be cringing and recoiling in their chair saying that sounds vaguely communist. And I'll say, in part, it is, but it's taking the learnings of the last century and applying it to a capitalist system, because there are benefits to both. And if you can bring those two spheres together, you end up with something larger than the sum of its parts. Look at the welfare state, look at the NHS and universal healthcare across the world now as a model. It works. Evidently. Now, there's a big problem when it comes to democratic systems. And it's because there is democracy in politics and government, but not in terms of money. And what that means is that businesses can build parallel power to governments, and because they have more dollars, which acts as a proxy for their votes, they can use it as a stick to beat you with. So another thing we'll be chipping the Open Systems package with is a library for something called Script. And it is a cryptocurrency. Everybody turns off. It's a cryptocurrency that is built on the best learnings of Bitcoin and projects that followed Bitcoin to develop smart contracts and to uncap the block size for a whole range of additional use cases that are currently rate limited by the infrastructure and the ideology in a lot of the competing cryptocurrency camps. Now, I've had the privilege of working with some of the best developers and cryptocurrency experts in the world that worked on the original Bitcoin Core protocol and projects since then. And I hope that in what we've developed in Script, it has encapsulated all of that learning into something that is apolitical. And because we're starting from zero, it means that everybody can participate. Now, how that relates to the operating system is, imagine a chain that runs specifically for your operating system, and all processes and all programs and all operations that you run inside this computer are logged checks and balances by some cryptocurrency. And the mining for that goes into a wallet that you can then spend in the real world. But everybody has their own version of this script with their own data, right? This is the whole thing. Like, think about this device as a black box. And the point of it being a black box is then you can choose how to interface with the world. Like right now, for example, there's a bus system being implemented in Manchester where big data is being utilized to make buses more efficient than ever. But the reality of that is there is intense tracking, there is intense data scraping from users who are non-consensual in that process, or like kind of have some kind of like pseudo consent where like they've signed up to some terms and conditions somewhere but haven't really read them. It's not consent. But imagine instead you could tap onto a bus and they'd have limited access to your data while you're on the bus, and then as soon as you tap out again, that's the contract completed. This is the kind of infrastructure that we are looking to build out. And labs and maker spaces and co-working spaces were really just the vector for like a lot of like tooling and materials to like work out what people need and what jobs people wanted and what the needs of the society were in a local space. But really it does span out to how public infrastructure can be run in future. Now, that's all very heady, I hear you say. Like, this is like blowing my mind right now. What can I do at this stage? I ask the same question to myself daily, and it's very much like, what are the actual steps I can take at this point? We've built a hard drive with a Linux-based operating system on it, and it will ship with a Meshtastic node. Now, this will serve as the first point of contact with users and with people in the real world. So how it gets used will influence how we develop it further. And you can buy it right now. You can buy it right now. So there's a link I'll put in the video description, and where that takes you is to Stripe, where you can purchase the first demo disk. I'm only going to build one because I'm a big believer about bootstrapping companies and bootstrapping projects. And if I can't sell one of these things, then I'm not going to be able to sell 10. I'm not going to be able to sell 1 million. So we are looking for our first customer, and that could be you. It could be. So if you resonate with the vision and you see the utility in something like this for yourself and want to build on it, play with it, feedback to us like how you find it, we can only go up. So I hope that you have a wonderful weekend. I am just waiting for some food right now at midnight, so I thought I'd record a little debrief about where I'm up to. Have a wonderful weekend. You only get so many in life.